Do first, think later. You'll get a lot further that way than thinking first, doing later.
Jason, why can't you make short films?
I'm just not motivated by it. I think for me, everything is 80 years old, look back at your life. How do you feel? Go big or go home. Do as much as you can with either as little or as much resource as you have. With Speed Faster, which is the biggest film I've ever done to date, like we have stuff from Japan, Italy, Jamaica, like a lot of stuff is going into this one project. Semi-trucks, all this stuff. It's because I looked at Four Amigos and said, I can do that better. I know where I went wrong. Back to the problem solving, right? I was like, I know what I could do to make it better. Not necessarily as big as something like Fast and the Furious, but I know how to make that better. So then I'm like, okay, let me do Speed Faster. It's one of those things where with short films, I don't see it as a challenge. And I think I'm driven by the self-challenge and the self-goal that I create. And I think that's the driving factor of why I'm on movie number 6 when I haven't seen the results or the wins to push me to go to number 6. I feel like if you pursue anything in life, little wins refill your gas tank. And they're like, okay, I can go another step. Okay, I can go another step. I haven't necessarily had those little wins yet, but the goal is a big enough driver for me that I keep going. So with short films, it seems so easy to me in my mind where I look at it and it doesn't matter what the story is. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's like a weekend. So it doesn't light me up. I'm fueled by things that light me up. For example, if Hollywood came today, hey, Jason, we love what you're doing, man. We want you to do this project for $5 million. Or, hey, we really like this project. Or I like this project. And hey, man, the budget's $200,000. What do you think? If I'm more lit up about the $200,000 project, I would do that before the $5 million project. It just goes back to, are you going to regret life and the decisions that you made, or are you going to be okay? I fortunately have a skill set, and through making movies, I've kind of acquired the thought process of I can do anything. As long as I tell my son this, as long as you can have basic reading and writing comprehension and do basic math, you can acquire the skills and learn anything in life. So with that, if you realize that life is a game of points, and every point that you gain or learn, you become better in any aspect, whether it's engineering, doing interviews, drawing, building a house, those experience points build up. So as long as you know that, you'll never have a problem because you have the mindset of like, okay, I can go hustle, or I can go learn, and I can go build, and I can go do. Do first, think later. You'll get a lot further that way than thinking first, doing later. Because in that moment, when you have that universal energy to do something, you need to jump on it. And I say that because with Speed Faster, I was gonna wait to get a budget to properly do Speed Faster because I wrote it with like a big $5 million budget. The energy was so right in the moment that I was like, we have to do this right now. Because if we don't do this now, we may never do it. And then that's how I jumped on it.
Well, you say go big or go home. You know, you told this great story that I loved about when you grew up in Hawaii, how you would make food with your family and sell it to construction sites. And I love that. And it sounded like it taught you to kind of like become a salesperson, essentially. Have you ever gone home not feeling big? Because that will not every time is a win.
Yeah. Quite often, actually. I don't never feel big. I just do as big as I can. So I think what happens is, from a filmmaker standpoint, as you continue to make movies, the shine of it starts fading. You've seen your movie screen on the big screen. Now when you see it a second time or a third time or the fourth film, it doesn't have the same effect as it did the first time because you've done it a few times. So it's not that I ever feel big. It's not even that I feel gratification or, hey, Jason, you did a good job. I don't even feel that either. I feel, hey, you have work to do. Go get it done. And that is it. It's like the journey of get it done. You haven't done it yet. Get it done. Prime example. In Speed Faster, it's not even that kind of movie. But I gave this one scene performance that I questioned my entire career if I could ever deliver that performance. I didn't know if I could do it. When I gave that performance and the scene's already edited and I saw it, I was like, wow, I did it. I felt more proud of that one scene as an actor because I spent 20 years not knowing if I could perform at that level. That brought me so much more joy than completing my 5th film. Because that answered a question about me as a creative. And it was like this crying scene with tears, and I was like trying to talk, and I was like, oh, you did that. And that brought so much energy out of me where I was like, okay, if you put me in a room with Leonardo right now, let's go. Prior to that scene, I was like, I don't know if I can do that. So yeah, I don't always feel big, but I just do. And then the results of doing lets me know like, oh, okay, you did it. You did it. It's okay. Be proud of yourself. And then it's almost like I have to force myself to be proud of myself because it just feels like you just got to do it.
What are your thoughts on using proof of concept shorts to attract a producer to your project? I know you said you don't like shorts.
Sure.
People won't remember them, which, okay, maybe a valid point. But what about a proof of concept to then show to someone else?
So I'm going to speak straight opinion because I don't have any ball in this court. I think if someone's asking you for a proof of concept because they have the right connections and they're like, hey, let me see what you can do before I decide to go with you. Yes, 100%. You go do that proof of concept. But if you're gonna go do a proof of concept to hopefully sell it, to then go and make the thing, you have to ask yourself and be very honest. How many times does a proof of concept in 2025 or even 2024, does that lead to doing the thing? Which is, I'm assuming most filmmakers want to make a feature film. If the answer to you is, hey, this proof of concept is going to lead to this, and it's going to take you, let's say, 3 weekends to do that proof of concept, how long is it going to take you to make that feature? 12 weekends? You telling me that 4 months from now, you can't just grind it out and be happy with what you made 4 months from now? Because I think you can. And I think that most filmmakers can. I think you just, what is your story? If it's grounded, it's a drama, it's about relationships, it's about someone that's terminally ill, all of these grounded stories you can do right now. You don't have to wait. The only time that the proof of concept becomes this high thing where you're really trying to get these incredible budgets and these big teams is when you're doing big stunts. You're driving cars off cliffs. You're going to war with this alien race. If it's not any of those things and it's grounded, you can go make that movie with good storytelling, good lighting, good camera movement now. You don't have to wait.
I hear that the passage of time really sounds like it bothers you every day. Or not bothers you, but it either invigorates you or the reminder of time.
It does. There's a few things. The lack of efficiency, like inefficiency really bothers me a lot. And I don't know why. But I think that if you can get something done in 3 steps and for some reason it's taken 8 steps, in my mind, since I was a kid, I'm trying to figure out how to get that done in 2 steps. I don't know why, but that's just kind of the way that my mind works. And it's fascinating because back to your point, I had this discussion where this person said, I was like, I would think it would be more attractive, this goes back to efficiency, that if I come to you and I say, hey, I have this film, it's completed. Would you want to be a producer on it? All you have to do is put your name on it if you like the film. That's it. To me, that's way more efficient than let me come at you in the beginning steps. Hey, do you want to be a producer on this? And then we have to go make the movie. The one argument from someone, which I'm assuming they had insider knowledge, was, no, they want to be a part of the process because they want to give input on making the project. But in my mind, I was like, well, if the movie is done and you know how to sell it or get it to the proper channels, by adding your name on it, that's minimal work on your part. So why wouldn't you want to go that route compared to trying to raise the funds and trying to get the people on board to try and make this project that may or may not ever be made? So yes, time, inefficiency, all of it. I think we have limited time. I think we have limited life force. And I think that we as human beings forget that every day. I think we think it's finite because when you're young, you're healthy. And you almost take it for granted. But one day you're not going to have the energy to do what you could have done today. And that's why we did Speed Faster. I was like, I may not be able to hold this camera out the car when I'm 49, but I can right now at 37.